China is boiling, literally. Record-shattering heat waves are frying cities, collapsing power grids, and sending people rushing to hospitals. Shanghai just hit a staggering 41 degrees Celsius, shattering previous records. And cities like Chongqing are seeing asphalt temperatures so extreme they're hot enough to melt shoes. This is no ordinary summer, but a relentless heat wave. Viral videos of people frying eggs on the street aren't just stunts or pranks. They're desperate signals from a nation living in what feels like an oven, struggling to cope with the relentless, punishing heat. With 1.4 billion people cranking up the AC, China's power grid is buckling. Factories are shutting down, and rolling blackouts are plunging neighborhoods into darkness. We watched entire industrial parks go silent, halting global supply chains. When the power fails, high-rise apartments become concrete ovens, trapping families in suffocating heat. The government is gambling with rolling blackouts, trying to avoid a total collapse. Hospitals are overwhelmed with heat stroke and dehydration cases, especially among the elderly and children. Shopping malls and underground shelters have become makeshift climate refugee camps, packed with families seeking relief. Volunteers race to deliver water and check on vulnerable seniors trapped in sweltering homes. The official death toll is just the tip of the iceberg. This is a public health emergency unfolding in real time. Why is this happening? Why are so many cities across China facing such relentless, record-breaking heat waves? And what's driving these extreme conditions? The answer isn't simple. There's a complex web of factors at play, all coming together to create this crisis. It's a perfect storm. El Niño, a natural climate pattern that disrupts weather worldwide, is pushing temperatures higher than usual this year. Add to that the urban heat island effect, where cities packed with buildings and roads absorb and hold onto heat, making them much hotter than the countryside. And then there's the impact of decades of climate change, which has steadily raised global temperatures, melting glaciers and fueling more frequent extreme weather events. Chinese cities, built from concrete and asphalt, have expanded rapidly, replacing green spaces with hard surfaces that trap heat during the day and release it at night, leaving little relief. These materials act like giant heat sponges, amplifying the crisis and making daily life increasingly uncomfortable and even dangerous for millions. Climate change has raised the baseline temperature, so every new heat wave starts from a hotter place than before, making each one more intense and harder to endure. As a result, what used to be rare extreme heat is now becoming a regular part of summer, pushing people and infrastructure to their limits. Major cities here are warming nearly twice as fast as the global average, meaning the risks and challenges are growing at an alarming rate. The old ways of coping just don't work anymore. As the heat intensifies, communities are being forced to find new solutions to survive in a rapidly warming world. In the face of relentless, record-breaking heat waves, China is deploying a wave of futuristic technology to try and keep its cities cool. Mist cannons roll through the streets, spraying fine water droplets to lower the temperature. Workers coat roads with reflective white paint, hoping to bounce the sun's rays back into the sky. High above, drones are sent into the clouds, releasing chemicals in a bid to trigger artificial rain. These high-tech solutions look straight out of a sci-fi movie, but they're now part of daily life in many urban centers. As the mercury soars, cooling centers have become lifelines for millions. Shopping malls, subway stations, and even long-abandoned air raid shelters are now packed with people desperate to escape the suffocating heat. These spaces, once designed for commerce or emergencies, have been transformed into sanctuaries from the climate crisis. Inside, volunteers distribute water and medical staff tend to the vulnerable, offering relief to thousands who have nowhere else to go. The sense of community is strong, but so is the underlying anxiety. Yet beneath the surface, frustration is mounting. Public anger is boiling over as people question whether these measures are enough or just temporary fixes for a much deeper problem. Across the country, protests and public discussions are erupting. People are demanding real, long-term climate action, not just emergency band-aids that treat the symptoms, but ignore the root causes. On social media, the outrage is impossible to ignore. Platforms like Weibo are flooded with posts, hashtags, and heated debates as citizens call for accountability and urgent change from their leaders. Many are drawing direct connections between the choking pollution, unchecked urban growth, and the suffering they now endure. The links between environmental neglect and public health have never been clearer. For countless families, this is more than just a physical crisis. It's a daily struggle for survival, with resources stretched thin and tempers running high. As the crisis deepens, it's clear that the heat wave is no longer just a matter of weather. It's becoming a political flashpoint, forcing a national reckoning on climate, policy, and the future of China's cities. This isn't just China's story. It's a preview of our collective future as the planet heats up. Around the world, from the bustling cities of Asia to the rural heartlands of America and Europe, extreme heat is becoming the new normal. These relentless waves of high temperatures are not isolated events, but signals of a rapidly changing climate that is affecting every corner of the globe. The challenges faced by China today are a warning sign for all of us, urging us to pay attention and act before it's too late. The heat is exposing every weakness in the system, forcing society to rethink how we live and build. Power grids are pushed to their limits, hospitals are overwhelmed, and basic infrastructure is strained in ways we never imagined. These moments reveal just how interconnected our lives are, and how vulnerable our systems can be when nature turns up the heat. It's a wake-up call for governments, businesses, and individuals alike. Community resilience is inspiring, but it has limits. People are reaching their breaking point. Neighbors come together to help one another, sharing water and shelter, but even the strongest communities can only do so much when the heat keeps rising. The emotional and physical toll is visible on every face, as people search for relief and hope in the midst of crisis. The real question: how much heat can a society take before it starts to break? As temperatures soar, the strain on our health, our infrastructure, and our social fabric grows. We must ask ourselves, are we prepared for what's coming, or are we simply reacting to disaster after disaster? China's response will shape the world's future in the age of climate crisis. The choices made today, how to adapt, how to innovate, and how to protect the most vulnerable, will echo far beyond its borders. In this defining moment, the world is watching, and the lessons learned here may determine how humanity faces the heat of tomorrow. What's happening in China is a global wake-up call. Similar crises are erupting worldwide as climate change accelerates. We'll keep bringing you these frontline stories because understanding this crisis is essential for our future. Subscribe for more unfiltered coverage. This is just the beginning.